Alright, here we are everybody. The Loki finale with Mom and her horns. Winston's here. We're getting into it. We're just going to recap it. We're not going to get into all the details of Kang and all this stuff, but yes, spoilers and everything and all that good stuff, whatever. Now, we start this episode opening on what me and Mom are calling Collinwood, the Citadel, of where Sylvie and Loki finally get past Goliath. We're finally going up to it. We're finally going to find out who the wizard...
We're finding what's behind the scene.
Behind the curtain. We're going to figure out who that
Who's
is.
behind the curtain?
So they go in. We end up talking to Miss Minutes, the creepy little clock. She's telling them to do this, do that, trying to deter them from doing whatever. Mom.
Go ahead.
I can't have you shoving the dog on me.
Well,
It's okay. Just lay
he
down.
won't stop licking my hand. I have a cut there and he won't stop, and he has to stop. Go
We
ahead.
end up having Loki and Sylvie tell Miss Minutes we write our own destiny, shove off. We cut back to the TVA where we have Miss Minutes now reporting back to Renslayer, and she says he thought you would want these documents. He thought these would help you more. And she's like, this isn't what I asked for. So I'm thinking that Renslayer has she wants to get to the bottom of things too. She wants free will too, but she was willing to use the TVA and use all of these people to get to it. I think that the Loki's and Renslayer's goals are similar, but she was willing to sacrifice everybody and the TVA and everything, where they were like, no, we'll just go in and do it ourselves. That's what I think. I don't know if that isn't explicitly said, but that's what I think. We cut back to the Citadel. We see that it's old and dusty and decrepit. Our Loki says, is he even here? Does he even exist? All this crap. I really liked the set design in this.
I did too, because you
was
know what?
real
It was
cool.
so old and so decrepit and so neglected.
Yes.
It looked old. It looked like something that...
Now, in my rewatch, though, did you see how it had all, like, the quote-unquote cracks in it? Like, the orange cracks?
Yes.
I thought those were more supposed to be like, oh, the timeline can crack. I thought that was kind of also... And to use your set to also symbolize it, I think is very cool.
Yep.
But I thought it was... It just goes to show you this guy's been there for such a long time that he doesn't care anymore. He's becoming old.
Right, it's
like,
old.
He's becoming old, what is the word I'm looking for? He's becoming, not a hoarder.
Hermit?
A hermit. He's become like an old
Well, I
hermit.
think he has to be an old hermit, right?
But, like, it's one of those things where if you're trapped somewhere for a long time, even if you are in control, maybe at first he kept up. But remember, he says, I'm old. He's like, I'm a lot older than I look. Like, I've been doing this for a long time. Almost like I kind of want to die, but I can't. And because I'm holding all this back. And I think that was supposed to show, like, even he's kind of sick of this.
Yeah, he's like the
stuff.
Sentinel.
Yes, yes. The actor who plays King the Conqueror, I thought he was very fun. That's Jonathan Majors. I like him. I just liked him. I thought he did a really good job. And especially if you are going to have to play, I don't know if this is a fact, if you're going to have to play a bunch of different versions of the same character, not like our Loki, who had different actors playing different Lokis, but you have to play all these different types of Kangs eventually. That's very hard to do, and I think that would be really fun to do as an actor. So we'll see how he does with that. But so far, I think he's really funny, and I like him.
So you got that right. She's just putting it out there for those of you that are wondering.
Down the road.
He is King the Conqueror.
Oh yeah, and here's where I was getting upset. And like I've said in many videos since we've started our channel, it ain't Mephisto. And they wanted us to think that for a minute when he kept saying devils, 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 but then he said I was a ruler, I was a conqueror, I was this, I was that, and there was a bunch of other Easter eggs for that in other episodes, but I'm not going to lie, I don't know everything about Kang the Conqueror, so I'm not going to get into all that right now. But it is Kang the Conqueror. It is a version of Kang the Conqueror. He's all quirky, kind of, like I said, kind of like an old hermit who's lost it, who's never dealt with anybody. He hasn't dealt with other people in a long time, and then, yeah. I really liked what I...
But he's not the vicious. He's not
the
vicious.
Kang. He's not...
He's doing what he has to do
He's not Kang
to keep the dimensions from warring.
Yes, he's...
And keeping things at bay.
He is a Kang. He's not Kang the Conqueror. And
He's not the bad Kang.
Kang the Conqueror is the one that we need to worry about. But, just like in Wizard of Oz, we finally get to the wizard who knows all of everything, but the truth is, after a certain point, he doesn't know everything. And he's kind of just this quirky guy that's been stuck alone in this place. One thing I want to talk about, and I know we were talking about the set design in several videos, but the windows behind him giving off the Doctor Strange vibe.
Yes.
But not Doctor Strange. And if you look at them, and I didn't notice this until my rewatch, the windows that are side by side, the two big main ones, one looks like it's going clockwise and one looks like it's going counterclockwise.
Yes.
Which is really cool, and I really like that. It's just cool little things where it's like,
showing the dimensions.
You tell me, maybe that's some huge thing from a comic. I'm just saying from a viewer standpoint, I thought that was a very cool thing to do and a very cool way to show it. They have their little meeting, and that's when Kang is jumping back and disappearing and reappearing. He's like, I know what you're going to do. I know what you're going to do. You can't kill me. Like, I know exactly what's going to happen. And then Sylvie's the one going, lie, 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 lie. Our Loki starts going, I don't know if this man's lying. I don't know if this guy's making all this stuff up. Like, some of it I think might be made up, but I don't think he's lying. We cut to, after we get their little intro to Kang and them talking in his little office, we cut back to the TVA. That's when we see Mobius pop up in Renslayer's office, and he's like, man, we can't be sacrificing all of these people's lives just to get what we want, so what do you want? And that's when she's like, if you think I needed to prune you to get rid of you, you're wrong. And she essentially beats him up, takes his pruning stick away, and she goes through a portal to we don't know where, but she says she's going to go find free will. Now, side note, I do know there's a backstory between the character of Renslayer and Kang. Once again, we are not going to get into that right now. We are just going to get into the show part, because we are going to have people on for a separate Loki video where we're going to get into all the crazy Kang the Conqueror and Renslayer and everything stuff.
My brother, her uncle, he's hilarious. But you know what? I gotta say, I still don't trust her.
Oh, I think she's going to be end up down the road.
She's no good.
In the MCU,
I think. I don't think she's any good.
I think down the road she's going to be a big bad guy.
Yes.
I think you were right.
She's just no good. Yeah.
There are differences when I say, like, I think Catherine Hahn, Agatha Harkness will be the new Loki. That I don't consider a villain. That I consider more of like an anti-hero, we like you type deal. Her, I think she's going to be bad. At first I kind of thought she'd be that way, and now I'm like, no, I think you're going to be a big bad down the road, or at least a helper to the big bad.
Yeah, she's no good.
Yeah, Mobius comes back. She doesn't mind sacrificing everybody for the mission, and how she this is what I mean when I say she was using the TVA to get what Loki and Sylvie wanted and didn't care about their well-being, where Loki and Sylvie were like, no, nobody's well-being should be sacrificed. We are going to go in and do this ourselves. And I think, and so I think they were kind of,
it's the old good versus evil.
Exactly. Which way? Well, that's the whole thing with good versus evil is how do I go about it? We might want the same end goals in things. It's the same way in the real world. We might all want the same end goal for something, but you might look at it in a radical way. You might look at it in a, well, let's just do it this kind of way instead. It's the same thing. So yeah, we think she's a scumbag through and through. Oh, but we do see...
Have we got past the old Loki doing the...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I did that episode. I did that already. We can talk.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. It was just cool. No,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Like I said, we are going to do a whole series recap also. They go to see what is Renslayer's variant in 2018, and Hunter B-15, who's working with Mobius, who I like. She reminds me of Elaine. Like, I just want to do my job right. I just want to do my job correct, and I keep comparing them to officers, so I'm like, yeah, she just wants to uphold the law correctly, and she's like, this is wrong, so we're going to stop it. But they go to prune what they think is Renslayer in 2018 at a school. Remember, she's a school teacher,
yep.
And then Hunter B-15's like, no, that's not her or whatever. And I think that maybe Renslayer starts not doing the apocalypse thing like Sylvie. I think that maybe she starts going to different places and pretending she's a different variant of herself. I don't know. We're going to get a season 2, so who knows? But she's gone. This is when we cut back to Sylvie and Loki and Kang's meeting, getting heated up. it's getting more aggressive, this, that, and the other thing. This is when I was at work watching it and getting so angry because, like I said, I have been extremely vocal about how I was like, we are not going to get Mephisto in WandaVision, and we are not going to get Mephisto in Loki. Can everybody shut up about Mephisto? He's not coming. But he kept saying devils. And in the first episode, when that kid with the blue lips points at the devil imagery, everybody's like, Mephisto, Mephisto. I was like, it's not Mephisto. It's not going to be Mephisto. And so I got worried for a second. I was like, I'm going to have to eat my words. This guy keeps dropping devils, and I knew about Jonathan Majors being cast in other things, but I still was like, maybe it's... You never know with Marvel. It could be a shapeshifter, it could be whatever. So I was like, God, are they going to hit me with some Mephisto crap? But then he started saying I was a ruler, I was a conqueror, and I was like, oh no, this is Kang. This is Kang, because we never get a name drop. But you get that it's Kang. He already, that's when he started talking about, I know what's going to happen, I already know, this, that, and the other thing. He tells them, just like the Wizard of Oz, I paved the road for you. For this whole thing. For your little sweet moment, for you to meet your other Lokis, for this and that. He goes, you just walk down it. And I was like, oh, I love a good villain monologue, and that was really well done. And like I said, he's not so much a villain right now. He's more just a...
Well, he's even trying to tell him, look, you don't want to do this to me. You don't want to do this to me because there's too many... There's bad me's out there, really bad me's out there.
Right.
And I somehow got in control of this. I'm holding back the demons, and
that's when
I'm the sentinel at the window.
And I really liked his little, and I don't want to compare it too much to Tony Stark, but, and because it's not nanotech, it's magic, but he does his little show on his desk. Showing him like himself fighting himself and all this stuff, and we get to see this little history on his desk. And he says the 31st century, which in the comics, that's where Kang's from. Now, Kang is like I said, I'm not going to get super into it. He's more of just a being. I don't know how to explain that, where he figured out how to go through time and space, and this was a thing he could just do. Like, he's not like everybody else. And, he talks about being from the 31st century. He discovered the multiverse. He made contact with his other variants on their other multiverses. And
tried to do good, but...
They tried to do good. They shared knowledge with each other to make each other's worlds better. And
the best laid plans of mice and men. Greed and power came into play.
And that's when we get him saying, not every version of me was good. Not everyone was great. I conquered. I did this. I ruled. Yada, yada, yada. And then he says to them, even if you do something to me, I'm just going to end up right back here. Because I'm going to get reincarnated. So, something's up. And our Sylvie,
but I may not be in control.
And then Sylvie, or our
somebody's coming.
Our Loki starts kind of panicking. Like, I'm starting to believe this guy. Sylvie's not believing nothing that anybody's saying, and that's the issue here. And honestly, I'm gonna throw a little. And Mom is not gonna understand. I'm gonna throw a little Dragon Ball Super reference in here. It was like the Tournament of Power. That's exactly what, except all versus Kang the Conqueror. Or Kangs. All Kangs versus each other for the right for your universe to exist in the multiverse. And the winner gets to stay alive, and the rest of the multiverses disappear. Just like in the Tournament of Power with Zeno and Dragon.
Or there may be Kangs in other multiverses, other time dimensions, but he's controlling it. Somehow he won. He's got the power.
Yeah, he's holding them back somehow. He's keeping them from, He's obviously,
he's managing
I think he's the smartest. Because even he says,
like he said, you get rid of me, somebody's coming.
Yeah, so he tells them, if you get rid of me, a bunch of terrible me's are going to show up, thousands of them, and you're going to have a problem on your hands. He talks about weaponizing Goliath, the big nothing cloud monster, and how using Goliath is how he won the multiversal war against all the other Kangs. So, that's a thing. And he said, you came to kill the devil, but I'm the one who keeps you safe. So, what's going to happen after this is we're going to get... I don't think it's just going to be Kangs that's the problem. I think this is how we are going to get Mephistos and other characters. I think he's keeping a lot... I think they're holding a lot back right now of info. Well, I mean, MCU always does. But I think they're holding a lot back on how much he's holding back. And I was just telling my mom, I compared it to... the cartoon movie of Hercules when all the Titans are stuck underground, but they're like, no, at this one moment they have a possibility of breaking free if we do whatever to Zeus. And so it's like, oh, now that we've gotten rid of quote-unquote Zeus and Kang, now all the Titans are going to come out and we're all about to be screwed. Then we have Sylvie saying, no, I think you're lying. I think you're BSing this whole thing. And he says, maybe I'm lying. And that's what I mean. I liked the quirky Wizard of Oz vibe he was giving off of, like, I've been here alone so long that I don't really know how to interact with people. And I'm enjoying dealing with people, even though you're here to do something terrible to me. Oh, one thing I did know.
Which you don't want to do. And let me tell you why.
Right. So
but anyway, are we at the point where she kills him yet?
No, we're at the point where he tells them to take his spot and not kill him and let him keep doing his work. And then our Loki's like, and I noticed this in my second watch through, they sit the same. If you look at how Loki and Sylvie are sitting across from Kang, they're both sitting with their hands, legs, everything, the way they're holding their sword across their lap is all identical, which I thought was a very cool little touch of this is another way of showing we're the same. Oh, then, well, Sylvie goes on her monologue, and I really loved this. I'm not going to lie, I did love this. Sylvie goes on her big thing about how it's a bunch of crap, and Kang gets up and hits the table and goes, grow up, Sylvie. Grow up. Like, this isn't about you and your crappy life. This is about everyone. And that's when Loki starts...
Yeah, it's a much bigger picture.
And that's when Loki says, think about it, think about it, think about it. And then Sylvie says, oh, you want the throne, you want the throne. He's like, dear God, for the first time, I don't want the throne. And I want to help everyone. And you don't trust me because you don't trust and I can't be trusted. And then our Loki's all sad again. And then we get a super awesome fight scene between those two. And I thought that was done really well. And I didn't realize how much... My first watch through, I didn't realize how much magic our Loki was using. And like pulling her back and then like throwing stuff.
Well, and how much power both of them had together to defeat that cloud.
Oh, that was a big
deal.
deal.
That's huge, right? They're powerful together.
So Loki believes him, Sylvie doesn't. They have their big fight. Sylvie grabs the time door opener off of Kang's desk and lets Loki go. Now, there was a point before this that I liked too, where Kang says, where the room starts to move a little bit, and Kang says, we're starting to cross over the threshold, so make your choice. And it's like, I think Kang kind of wanted to be taken out. I think part of him wanted to be taken out, part of him didn't, because he knows he has to protect everything. We get, before Loki is thrown away, we do get, and I liked that Sylvie was the one who kissed him before she kicked him out the door. I thought it was going to be Loki kissing her, but it's like, no, Loki, you wouldn't have... The truth is, you've been so... Like they talked about in the episode that we I said episode 5 was the best one. They talk about that. We both don't know how to love. It's kind of like a Jaime Lannister, Brienne of Tarth thing. And they're like, we both don't know what we're doing here. And so I think that was the first time that our Loki wasn't the one to say something first, and she just was like, no, I'm going to do this with or without you, and then kisses him and then kicks him through the door and bye. Then we get her all pissed off, throws the desk aside, and she asks Kang, are you going to beg for your life? And he says, nothing. I think he just laughs, but he does say, see you soon, and then she just stabs him. And that was wild. That was kind of crazy. I didn't think that they were going to show that exactly.
Yeah, he's just telling her, I'll be back. I tried to tell you.
Oh, and this was really cool, too. And this is what I mean about the special effects in this show. Is the MCU ever subpar? No. But I just didn't think they would put this much into their shows. And after Kang gets stabbed and they raise the camera up and they go out the funny-looking windows and they show the timeline breaking, that was a really cool shot.
Yes.
That was a really cool...
I like the way the timelines were cracking.
And it was, yes.
They were spreading out now.
And it's a very good way.
And multiplying.
Mom and I have spoke about this many times of the average viewer. If you haven't read everything or know everything, that's hard. But that imagery right there shows very easily, very well.
When she killed Kang,
we got a problem.
It cracked.
We got a problem here.
What he had in control, this line, all of a sudden, went off in all different
Yep,
directions.
we got a problem here. We got timelines.
We got a lot of dimensions, and we got a lot of people out there, and we got a lot of kings.
And when you're dealing with multiverse stuff, it can get nuts. And so, like I said, just that imagery right there is very easy to go, all right.
So God knows what's going to come from it.
Right. That, and we'll get into that in a minute, because I'll hit Mom with some info to excite her. We do the shout out of the everything. Sylvie sits down on the ground, almost like, what did I do? Almost in like, not, I don't want to say a fetal position, but it's like, what did I do? What did I just do?
I don't think that was it. I think she was okay with what she did.
I think after he said, see you soon, it freaked her out.
I think it was just the cumulation of everything that she was going after, just coming down. I think she was just coming down. I don't think she was regretting anything.
I love Sylvie as a character, I do. But that is a very good way of showing.
Winston, stop that.
Everybody goes through stuff. Everybody has trauma. Maybe get it handled instead of taking it out the wrong way. Just saying. I don't know, we've been watching a lot of Sopranos, so therapy's been a big thing on our minds lately. But I'm just saying, that's what Loki's trying to tell her. I've been where you are. I've seen what you've seen. I've felt what you felt. We can get through it. And instead of getting through it, she would rather go, I don't trust anybody again, bye. And then so I think that she's like, I got to the end of my road. What did I just do?
No, I think I just think she's coming down from
Adrenaline?
the buildup.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think she's feeling anything, regret yet. I don't think she recognizes that she's wrong yet.
I don't think she regrets yet, but I do think she's like, maybe, just maybe, but I'm not going to think about it. Loki was right. But we get to...
I don't.
We cut back to the TVA, where our Loki is. And we think that it's our TVA. We think it's our Mobius. We think it's our area. Well, he goes running to find Mobius to tell him everything hit the fan. And he doesn't know who Loki is.
Mobius doesn't know who he is.
Nobody knows
and
who he is.
Now, where's he at? He's at a place where all the statues, the gods, so to speak,
the lizard people,
is Kang.
Yeah. So now Kang's statues are everywhere. But I took this as, and I'll tell you if I'm wrong, he got sent to a different multiverse. So he's in a different universe at a different TVA, and that's why they don't know who he is. So, very interesting. That's how I took that, at least. And I did like the shot of Mobius and Hunter B-15 standing together watching the timeline break, and they said, now it's going to get crazy, essentially. I can't remember the exact quote, and then she says, yep, and we're going to, like, essentially stand together with it. And then they do their little TVA mantra. I can't remember what it is. It's for all time, always. But they're essentially saying, we're ready for the fallout of this.
Yep.
And because we think people deserve to have free will.
We're ready for our fight. We're ready to fight.
Now, this is where I'm going to...
Well, can I just say something?
Yeah, I was going to say your
totally
thoughts.
off topic here as far as that goes. I had a hard time reconciling the way I think that we had a girl Loki, but all right, I was okay with that. I figured that out. Abigail helped me figure that out.
Don't you dare come for Alligator Loki.
Well, Alligator Loki's very cute.
He is cute.
Very cute.
He's cute, and he's the first one to attack.
But I'm having a hard time figuring out how a human... Now you're an animal. Come on. You're an amphibian now? I mean, at least reptile. At least the girl was human. Now we're going to be an animal?
There's a whole comic about Frog 4.
Walking around with horns? He is cute, though.
He's adorable.
I'm just saying I struggled with that. He's a Loki. I don't know if he's a Loki.
He is a Loki.
He's a Loki. But that's weird.
Okay. Our thoughts on the episode, though.
So anyway, wrap it up.
Is there anything that you liked, personally? Well, I'm going to hit you with some info that you are...
Well, hit me with the info.
Okay, so because of all these timelines breaking, and I don't know if I just... Like I said, I get alerts for all this stuff, and plus I keep up with it. If you don't keep up with it, if you're not in the know, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom... Are you getting excited?
Yeah.
And Tom... who's Spider... God, I'm going to be... crucified for not remembering his name. New Spider-Man. Oh my god. How can I not remember his name?
I don't know. I don't know his name.
You don't know the actor who plays Spider-Man's name?
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire. Andrew Garfield, and then the new one is Tom.
Oh, the kid?
Yeah. Well, they're all going to be in the new Spider-Man. So, did I not tell you this?
They're all, what? Is the new Spider-Man in Dimensions too?
It's called No Way Home, and it comes out after Multiverse of Madness. So this is why all of this is going to tie... Now...
So all the different dimensions, time dimensions, and their characters will tie into that somehow. So... Where is Doctor Strange? Can I just ask that? Where is Doctor Strange? Well, you know he's got to be in here somewhere if these time dimensions are running around.
Well, I thought that it was very interesting that those windows were very similar to the Summoner's or the Sanctum in Doctor Strange and the Sorcerer's Sanctum. That those windows are also very similar to Kang's, except not with the tiny lines.
Yeah, I'm really curious where Doctor Strange has got to be coming in.
If you're in the
Mr. Time himself, right?
If you're in the know, the reason Doctor Strange didn't have a scene in WandaVision is because of COVID. They couldn't get him overseas. They couldn't get, and they were like, we didn't want to do it over like that. We didn't want to do that. But he was supposed to make a cameo in WandaVision because, as we all know, if you've kept up with our videos, WandaVision is going to connect straight into Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness. So we're going to get into the multiverse and all this craziness. Now remember all these Nexus events that are happening in Loki? What did Wanda do? Caused a Nexus event. So, that's all going to tie in.
She's got her own dimension out there somewhere, I bet.
I think a lot of this is all going to tie together into Multiverse of Madness, but right after Multiverse of Madness is when we get Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, No Way Home, because we got, we got Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man No Way Home. So if there's no way home, how is there no way home? If you're stuck in another universe, that's how there's no way home. So I don't know if Mom knew this, and I'm really excited about it just because I'm a kid who grew up and I was 10 years old when Tobey Maguire played Spider-Man, so that's my favorite Spider-Man. I don't care what anybody says. Tom Holland's great. Tom Holland's amazing. He's a great Spider-Man. But I'm really excited for that, to have all three of our Spider-Men that I grew up with in one movie.
This is sensory overload for me. I need some time to process all this.
No, Mom needs Doctor Strange.
I need Doctor Strange.
Mom needs Doctor Strange. Is there anything, and then like I said, we can go into other, what were your favorite parts of the, if you want to just put it all together, what were your favorite parts of the series? If you want to talk about Old Man Loki, he was sweet.
He was.
He was pretty awesome.
But he needed to be better looking.
Oh my God, Mom.
Well, he did. Because young Loki, he's kind of cool looking, ain't he? He's got kind of that suaveness going on.
He was pretty suave. I like how, he was more of like, he was more, how do I put this, like royalty. He was more like, no, I don't use swords. I use my enchantments. No,
that's true.
I do this.
But Old Man Loki, man, give it up when he was raising the city. I mean, that was a great scene.
That was really
when he
cool.
rebuilt Asgard as the
That whole, I think that episode 5 was the funniest and the best, and having all the Loki army and President Loki and Alligator Loki, I think that was fun. I thought Owen Wilson was great through this whole thing. But I do think episode 5 was the best one, especially having Old Man Loki. And now that we have this multiverse stuff, does anybody really die? We might get him back. We might get him back.
Right. And the other thing is, Loki, our Loki was a nicer Loki, wasn't he, in this?
I felt like
I kept waiting for him to turn into, you know, somehow he had a conscience here. He had a... to do the right thing. That was kind of well, I'm sorry, that's just not Loki. He's usually wheeling and dealing and seeing what he's going to get out of it. But he wasn't this time. That's what I'm saying. It was a little different this time.
But he wasn't when he got killed by Thanos.
Right.
And that's what I mean. This Loki.
That's true.
And I will say this, and I've said this to other people. I imagine it is very, very hard to go, okay, we already redeemed this character once. Now we got to do it again, but we have to come up with a whole other story. And you have to like it, audience, and not think that we're just trying to do this again.
Kind of hard not to like him. I even liked him when he was a bad guy.
Well, yeah, no, you love him.
I mean, he's just kind of,
yeah. Because he's never like full bad or never full good. He's just kind of out for himself. But I liked that he got redemption in this show on his own. And honestly, I feel like his redemption on his own made him a better character now than it did with the other Loki who passed away with using Thor and everybody else.
Yes.
And that's just in general when you can have a personal journey of getting better. And not saying that you can't get help. Getting help is great. Everybody should have people that support them and help them and all that. That's awesome. But it's different when you come to realizations on your own. Is that a good way to put it?
What are we talking about?
I'm talking about in general.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, I do something bad and I mess up. I realize that on my own, like in the Loki series, other than having you or Elaine or Marie go, you screwed up. Now go say you're sorry. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and I'm not saying one is better than the other, but I'm saying it's more satisfying when you do it for yourself.
Hey, I'm back to where is Doctor Strange?
We need Doctor Strange.
We need you, Doc.
We need theater. Oh yeah, we need theaters to open up so that they can. I'm so mad they got pushed back.
But
we should have had Doctor Strange by now.
But we are going to do a wrap up of the whole series.
And about
that's going to be
Kang.
fun. With her uncle and my brother who
read. And my buddy Chuck is going to come by and do a whole thing about Kang and how.
Yeah, because they've got the history on it, and it'll be fun. So tune in. That'll be fun.
All right, I'm Abby with Motor City Nerds, and this is my
mom. And I'm her mom.
And thank you. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Tell us what
I'm a Loki.
Tell us what you thought about the series in the comments. Tell us what you thought about the finale. Tell us what you're excited about. Thanks again. Remember to stay safe out there.